How's it going, guys? Welcome back to another video. Today, we're going to be doing early lineup predictions for the Vancouver Canucks. And now, there's going to be one player that I'm going to say is going to be outside the organization at this moment. Either way, it's going to be, or otherwise, sorry, it's just going to be all the players that are in the lineup, in the organization at the moment. There's going to be no outside players coming in. There's not going to be like a Jack Roslovic signing in like a Dakota Joshua or Niels Hoglander trade that, Niels Hoglander gets traded for this and we bring in Jack Roslovic with that cap space. No, it's going to be everybody that is in the organization at the moment. Hell, Jack Roslovic could have signed between like yesterday and today, and I wouldn't know because I didn't really check. I didn't really check hockey Twitter. I didn't really check Instagram too much. I didn't see if anybody big signed, and it could have happened this morning, and I didn't know. But let's hop right in with, I got the sheet up, you can see it all right there, and I will explain bit by bit, and it's going to get a little more explainy when we get to the bottom, comparative to when we get to the top. Now, let's start off with the notable missing. Arthur Shilovs to trade and waivers. I think that's what the Vancouver Canucks have to do, is trade him. I know you could keep 3 goaltenders up, but it's going to be very hard as I'm looking here. Because there's some guys who don't need waivers who I think they should keep up because you don't know if you're going to lose them or not. But if they don't and they end up setting him down, he probably gets claimed. I think he might get claimed. Max Sasson. The reason he's not up here is because he's still not waiver eligible. He can go up and down whenever he wants. So Max Sasson, for the meantime, will stay down in the AHL because it's easier to move him down there. Jonathan Lekermacki, I don't think he starts the NHL on the lineup. I don't think he's fully ready. I know a lot of people are thinking he could make that jump next season, and I'm hopeful. I'm always hopeful. It would be awesome if he could make that next jump, but he's also still not waiver eligible. So setting him down wouldn't be a bad thing. Victor Mancini as well. But the signing of P.O. Joseph, Victor Mancini and D. Petey are the only guys who can be sent up and down freely. I wanted to put that beside DPD to show you that he doesn't need waivers anymore. He doesn't need waivers, but I think if anyone, it's going to be Mancini who gets sent down, or if they both are really good, then P.O. Joseph gets sent down, and the Canucks test that out, test the waters a little bit, see if they can send him down. I do think they can, but maybe a team claims him. But with that out of the way, I'll go over the could be traded. Niels Hoglander, Dakota Joshua. I feel like Niels Hoglander would be the smartest, but Joshua frees up the most cap space. A lot of people are saying they don't want to get rid of Joshua, but if they need to make open room with the cap space, then Joshua might be the piece that moves. Niels Hoglander as well. For me, you could probably find a spot in the lineup for him. I know I have O'Connor a little high, right? You could probably drop Kane, O'Connor to the 4th, and move Hoglander to the first line. That kind of helps his role a little bit, but I really like that Cheadle, O'Connor, Besser line that we had last season, so that's why Hoglander doesn't really fit in this for me at the moment. But with lineup movement and the way that the Vancouver Canucks have been, where it's a new coach, Hoglander could definitely play on that first line. Now, let's go up, down on each thing, and I'll explain. So goaltending is going to be fairly simple. That's our tandem. Demko's the starter. If they both are starters, then it's a 1A, 1B. Split 40 games. Take the load off Demko. Lankinen can play that. He showed last season that he could play, 50 games? And then Demko takes 40. He seems healthy. They wouldn't give him that contract if he wasn't healthy. And I know a lot of people are like, oh, she loves Lankinen, which I don't think is the smartest statement because Demko is a Vezina caliber goaltender who had an unlucky season and was rushed back from injuries for a whole calendar year. And other than that, he's only had a groin injury that he missed a couple months for. And that's normal. That's normal. You could look at that groin injury and be like, oh, but he's had a past of injuries. But Elias Pettersson's been hurt for months early in his career. Brock Besser's been hurt for months early in his career. So you can't really say that. And the knee injury, sure. A lot of people are like, oh, made of glass? No. Rushed back from injury, and either the Vancouver Canucks rushed him back or Demko himself rushed himself back because he really wanted to play with this team. And that makes a lot of sense now that he signed that contract, doesn't it? That he would want to play with this team. Kevin Lankinen, they're not going to move him this offseason unless they really see a move that they like. Like, if a team really wants that, we get a 2C. Like, the only team I could see us trading Lankinen to at the moment is the Edmonton Oilers. And who do we get back? Ryan Nugent-Hopkins? That's going to be... We have to give up way too much to get him. And who are we going to get back? Adam Hendrick? Can we get, like, a second back? Hendrick's a little old. I don't think it's a smart move at the moment. So we should wait. Have Kevin Lankinen and Demko as our duo because I think this would be one of the best tandems in the NHL if healthy. I do have the injury risk for Demko in my mind, as always. But I'm hopeful and I believe that he will be healthy for this season. Now, defense. This one's pretty simple as well. Hughes, Hronek. That line works amazing. Marcus Pettersson and Myers. That line works pretty good. Marcus Pettersson kind of makes up for if Myers makes a mistake. A lot. Marcus Pettersson always makes the smart play. And I really like that defensively. Myers, sure. He has his moments, but definitely when Myers is on, we know this Canucks fans, he turns into like Prime McDavid all of a sudden on offense and goes in, takes over and scores. It's amazing. But it doesn't happen every game. So it's like a little weird. If that Myers played every game and Marcus Pettersson played great defensively and, you know, they were a plus out of the game, I think a lot of Vancouver Canucks fans would be like, this second pair defense is amazing. But yeah, Myers could just turn into McDavid out of nowhere. Marcus Pettersson's one of the most solid defensemen in the league, I think. And this second pair could be amazing. The third pair, DPD and Forbert. You got that old veteran presence who can help with defensive and is a very good. I like him at least. I think the extension was a little too pricey, but at the same time, I think it's only one season. It might be 2 seasons. I have it pulled up, so it's going to be very quick. Derek Forbert, 1 season. Yeah, 1 season. Could have probably... it's fine, because the contract will expire next season. DPD, hell yeah. I really liked him last season. I liked Mancini as well. I think I like DPD a little bit more for at the moment. When Myers goes and Forbert goes, or if Forbert just leaves, DPD slots over to the left side. You could bring Mancini up, but there's the Wallander. There's the Wallander in it all, right? And Myers has 2 seasons left. He has a no movement clause, and then he has a modified no trade. I think the Canucks, if Wallander looks really good, if DPD looks really good, if Mancini look really good, probably explore that option of getting rid of Tyler Myers' contract for the final year. I love Myers. I understand he wants to be in Vancouver his entire career, but he wouldn't open up a 12-team trade if he wasn't willing to maybe help the team. And I'm sure he would be fine going to end his career somewhere else and maybe sign a 1 day to retire as a Canuck, but I could see him signing a 1 day to retire elsewhere. I really like Tyler Myers, but he's getting older, and this young decor could age him out. P.O. Joseph as the scratch, I already explained this. They could send him down to keep Mancini up, and maybe Mancini plays the right side with DPD being the scratch if that's how it shakes out, but at the moment Mancini doesn't have to clear waivers. It's just less of a hassle to send Mancini down than it is to send Pierre-Olivier Joseph down. If they do send Pierre-Olivier Joseph down, I wouldn't complain because I really like Mancini. Now off to the forwards. Now Leckerbeck and Assassin, we already explained why they're down. So when we get down to the bottom, you might start to realize why those two are up in the NHL. Jake DeBrusk, Elias Pettersson, Evander Kane. I really think this line could work. I think that DeBrusk and Kane could definitely work the corners and the net front presence really well, while also being able to get open in the slot. Pettersson could be a secondary board helper. You know, first guy gets in, Pettersson kind of helps, and then he has to tie himself up. Right? But Pettersson could go in, be the assist guy, get out. Jake DeBrusk is either in front of the net. Jake DeBrusk could work himself to the slot, move it back to the blue line. I definitely think that this line will work, especially with DeBrusk is a little quick. I like how he was playing last season. I definitely think he was getting into the boards a little bit. Evander Kane, I really like him for this line because I think that with a good centerman, he works. And if Pettersson's on his game, he's one of the best centermen in the league. And I know a lot of people are going to go, yes, he is. He's one of the best centermen in the league when he's on his game. My cat's meowing in the hallway. But that I really like that first line. Second line, Besser, Hedl, O'Connor. Now I know it doesn't look like a second line, and you could definitely bring Evander Kane onto that line, makes him look more like a second line, and put Hoglander up in the first line. But if you remember, this line had really good chemistry, and I think that Hedl and O'Connor and Kane would work as well. Definitely make up for the speed that Besser's missing, which makes it so Besser doesn't have to really worry about it. You got two guys, put them on either side of the ice, have them skate in on opposite corners, and then boom. If it's Hedl's corner, O'Connor moves to the middle, Besser comes in as the support, maybe O'Connor moves in as the support guy. O'Connor's corner, Hedl comes in on support, Besser moves out to the middle, Hedl picks up the puck, finds Besser, who has a shot, and that could end up being good goals. They get into the corners while Besser doesn't really have to use his speed, unless he has to. If Besser's the first guy in, Besser's going to get in there. We know Besser's going to get in there. But Hedl and O'Connor can make up for that speed that Besser doesn't have. And I thought they worked really well last season. I think this line would work. Speaking of lines working really well, with Joshua hopefully being fully healthy, last season he was recovering from cancer. We can all give him a break for that. Blueger being there, I don't think he was really hurt. He's there. And Garland being back and happy with an extension. This could be the lifeline that we've all been missing here with Joshua, Blueger, Garland as the third line. This was our matchup line. This was the line that would go out, play really good defense, but score a lot too, because you got Connor Garland, who's very offensively talented. You got Dakota Joshua, who went on as very offensively talented. You got Teddy Blueger, who's really defensively sound, but also can help on offense. I think Teddy Blueger definitely has a bit of activation when it comes on offense, and he could definitely turn it on and get something going in the offensive zone, whilst Connor Garland also very good defensively, and I think that he also is one of the best offensive talents on this team. And I know a lot of people are going to be like, Connor Garland, offensive talents. I mean, 50 points, it's pretty good for a middle six guy. Joshua, also very talented. I do think that he has it, and I think last season was just a down year with injuries. And I think that this season, he definitely showed it at some points last season. He could be that Dakota Joshua that he was a year ago. And I think that he will revert back to that. And a lot of people who think maybe we should trade that cap hit are going to be like, oh my god, that cap hit. We like that. Now, the fourth line, Hoglander, Ratu, and Sherwood. Sherwood on the fourth line, I know he's supposed to be that player, right? But he can also move up the lineup. You can even move Sherwood up to the DeBrusk-Pettersson line, because that worked well. And then move O'Connor down with Hoglander, and then Kane down with Hedl and Besser. A lot of interchangeability in this lineup, and it gives us a lot of variation to use against other teams, which could throw them off their game. Or, but they'd also always be prepared for what we can throw at them. And Sherwood on the fourth line, I mean, he's amazing. I mean, you don't have to give him all the minutes, and he'll maximize his minutes. You talk about players who go out there and put everything out on the ice, and Kiefer Sherwood is one of those guys. Though the whole team is giving up on, I think it was the Columbus game, and everyone was playing like, oh my god, we just blew this lead. Kiefer Sherwood's like, they took this lead from us, let's bury them into the boards, and I really like that. Ratu at center, I really like this. I think he could take that next step. He's waiver eligible though, so it concerns me about sending him down. Niels Hoglander there, I think he makes the team. It's tough what role I think I could see him in, and I know a lot of people might be more solidified. Oh, he could play that first line right wing, Pettersson and DeBrusk, while O'Connor's moved down and you move Kane in, and I understand that. I just think that the chemistry with that second line works a lot, and I know it looks a lot like a third line to a lot of people, but if Hedl can activate, I do think he could be a 60-point guy, and I know a lot of some people might call me crazy. I think Drew O'Connor, although not going to be the best point producer, definitely adds some stability to that line, and Brock Besser, he's a goal scorer. he could definitely inflate Heedle's point numbers, especially Heedle didn't play with him the entire season. Hoglander, I think this line is very in your face though with Hoglander and Sherwood, and I think it could work as a really solid fourth line. Archdeep Baines and Linus Karlsson being the guys that you can't send down, so I would say keep them up. Send Niels Ullmann down because we know we can clear waivers, and send Sasson and Leckerback down because they don't need waivers, and kind of just test the waters. If you can send Baines down, if you believe that it's nice and you can send Baines down without having him be claimed, then you can do that. You could bring a guy like Sasson up. You could bring a guy like Ullmann up if you think that they're going to help the team a little bit more if Baines isn't playing up to par. I think that Baines is definitely and Karlsson could rotate into this lineup with injury. I'm not sure about with, maybe Ratu would be the only guy. Hoglander if it was voice crack. Hoglander if it was Tocchet, because I know Hoglander would rotate out of the lineup with Tocchet sometimes. I don't know. I think these guys would definitely just be injury scratches. This team might be very solid, but injuries, you never know what could happen. That is it for this one. I'll see you guys in the next one. The video on your right is the video from Friday. The video on your left is the video from Wednesday. Subscribe right down under there. Let me know if you guys agree or disagree, or if you think there's some minor changes. I mean, I guess that's just disagrees in the comments below. I'll see you guys in the next one.